Okay, the Georgia Supreme Court yesterday unanimously told the Orange Vomit to take a walk where it concerned his petition to block Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis's investigation over his attempt to destroy the majority votes in this country by people who did not want him as president and wanted Joe Biden, the 2020 election interference case. And what his toy lawyers were doing, and since his lawyers, they're graduates of law school, one assumes, they knew he was full of shit when he told them to do this, but, it's their client, and they're probably charging him $10,000 an hour or some such shit to do this. But Trump wanted the lawyers to petition the Georgia Supreme Court to throw out the evidence gathered by a special purpose grand jury, Fani Willis's, that has been putting together the evidence necessary to get a regular grand jury, which has now been impaneled, to issue indictments against this son of a bitch and the creepy crawlies who helped him engineer this attempt to overthrow the government of the United States. And Trump's fake attorneys had asked the Georgia Supreme Court last week to disqualify the Fulton County District Attorney and her office from further investigating whether the orange bastard and his group of sycophants broke the law when they tried to overturn Trump's 2020 election loss in the state. Probing whether, again, the legal system in this country moves at a glacial pace sometimes, doesn't it? How long would it have taken you, dear listener? How long would it have taken me after hearing the recorded phone call of Trump threatening the Secretary of State of Georgia with legal trouble if he did not negate the will of the people in the state we're concerned who is to be our next president? How long after hearing that would it have taken you to say the son of a bitch is guilty? Or at least the son of a bitch is deserving of a full investigation? A minute? 30 seconds? But Trump instructs his fake attorneys to go before the Georgia Supreme Court and say, hey, listen, no, you can't do that. And what the orange bastard got his attorneys to file also, the motion also tried to quash the final report of the special grand jury, the one that concluded. And now the evidence has gone to the regular grand jury. And the petition that Trump filed asked the Supreme Court to, quote, stay all proceedings related to and flowing from the special purpose grand jury's investigation, end quote. And that stupid-ass request, I'm sick of the expression, a Hail Mary effort, but that's what media called it, this Hail Mary effort, just weeks before District Attorney Willis is going to announce a charging decision in this case. And I just look forward to that because it's going to include not just the orange bastard, I'm sure. It'll also include these filthy, scummy, anti-American creeps like Rudy Giuliani and John Eastman. Oh, my God. Anyway, in the opinion that was published yesterday, the Georgia Supreme Court dismissed the petition. And in their dismissal, they wrote that the orange bastard had not proved, quote, the extraordinary circumstances, end quote, that would have warranted an intervention by the Georgia Supreme Court. And the court's decision said that his petition lacked proof that his constitutional rights had been violated. Yeah, which ones? And also, the decision said that, quote, the facts or the law necessary to remove Willis from the case do not exist. And the decision also said that other courts had rejected his claims 60 goddamn times. Well, they didn't say it that way, but essentially that's what they meant. And Trump's Georgia-based traitorous lawyers, Drew Findling and Marissa Goldberg and Jennifer Little, these three Georgia-based lawyers filed near identical petitions, not just in front of the Georgia Supreme Court, but also the Fulton County Superior Court, repeating arguments that were made back in March, trying to block District Attorney Willis from the case. And that earlier motion, the one in Fulton County, remains pending before the Superior Court Judge Robert McBurney. Why? I have no idea. But it was that judge who oversaw the special grand jury who has been gathering witness against this son of a bitch. And also, in the opinion issued by the Georgia Supreme Court yesterday, the ruling appeared very critical of the Trump phony legal team's decision to take its case directly to the Supreme Court instead of first arguing the case before a lower court judge, which is the normal procedure. The opinion from the Georgia Supreme Court reads this in part, quote, "A petitioner cannot invoke the court's original jurisdiction as a way to circumvent the ordinary channels for obtaining the relief he seeks without making some showing that he is being prevented fair access to these ordinary channels." And it was part of the Trump bastard's petition by his phony lawyers that somehow he was being denied due process. So please, Georgia Supreme Court, just take my case. Take my case right now. Don't make me be like a regular citizen of the United States and have to work my way up to, just take my case. Take my case. So the Georgia Supreme Court said, okay, we'll take your case. Let me see. Yes. Dismissed. Get the hell out of our courtroom. Amscray. Jesus God. And now today, of course, we got the well-received news, well-received by me, possibly by you too, that this orange bastard is now the target. That means he's going to be indicted. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.